We got Bento over there, and Chris is back from
I'm
Retro.
back.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
That's
We're
what I'm
happy to be
talking about.
back here.
Yeah, how was it over there, man?
No, save that for the other podcast.
It was great. It's good to be back, though.
Yeah, did you see a lot of good people over there?
I did. Yeah, you were there, too.
No, I don't think so.
Good.
I wasn't.
Some people
you
missed
are.
you. I saw some comments saying they missed
Oh,
Chris.
yeah. I saw a lot of Chris comments.
Oh, wow. Thank you, guys.
I
Thank
deleted
you.
them.
we hit them for challenge.
Mark
for sure.
is spam.
But I think it's been a month or two, maybe, since I've been on with you guys. So
Yeah,
it's been
because
a
you were
minute.
gone before Retro World doing other stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so
We
good to
see
be
it.
back.
We see how it is.
So the way I wanted to like segue into this topic was basically what kind of impact does the new announcement of GameStop Retro? We know that they've been selling already with dabbling into the retro gaming scene already here and there. What do you think now that they actually have a brand and logo and everything and storefronts coming out?
Well, first of all, I think we created this because I think we talked about this on the podcast and we said...
Apparently they've been doing it for a while, but not right now. It's being publicized, pushed. So I would say there's a huge difference because there will be people in the comments that will be like, you guys are wrong. It was way before. But it's definitely a thing right now. Maybe like a week ago or so, it started to kind of hype up.
And I would guess that they've been planning this for a while too. Like them actually selling in store and the branding and the logo and everything. Like this has been something in the works with them, I would guess, for quite a while. But you're right that they did only sell. They were doing it for a while back where they were selling, I believe, only online. So they were taking trades. And this is obviously new because it's actually branded GameStop Retro stores where it looks like they're not even going to be selling new games, just older consoles.
Funny enough, I was watching Spawnwave, and he was like, I visited the retro store, and he shows this picture, and I thought it was a joke. I was like, what is this garbage? Right now, from at least the pictures I've seen, it wasn't something. I mean, it was literally a wall of, half a wall, a couple shelves of garbage, right? Like some janky PS3 games, some janky Wii games, some janky PS2 games, couple DS games. It was nothing that I would say. Again, and this is early stages, right? Now that they're announcing it, they're probably trying to get the inventory. I'm sure it'll start happening. I think we'll need like another update when it's been a year and you can say, hey, did it affect me?
So how many does anybody know how many exist now currently?
There's a store locator that you can go to and see the one closest to you. The one closest to us isn't even that close. It's actually I think 20 minutes away or
I
so.
thought, Ben, you said it was Irvine?
Yeah, there's one in Irvine, which isn't too bad, too far away.
Yeah. What I want to do too in a minute, I know Curtis can pull it up in a minute. I wanted to look at GameStop's website, look at the retro games and kind of compare them to price charting and see where they are. I've heard mixed things. So I want to say that we can put it to the test and see, does GameStop compare to price charting? Or we could just go straight up, go do it live from Chris's store and see who's got better prices. I'll pull up price charting, Curtis.
I am curious how quick they'll be able to roll this out because I did see somebody say, does GameStop have a warehouse just full of retro games? My guess is they do not. And I would find it difficult, I would think, Rick, to for them to source enough inventory to open up these stores.
What do you think?
That's true, but remember, for the longest time, I don't know what they did with it, but for the longest time, when you'd give them the old retro games, they'd ship it to their warehouse. They'd only have it online, but I don't know if they still have all that stock because it was a lot of stock. They used to do. They wouldn't take everything, but they'd take GameCube, Game Boy. There was certain things they wouldn't take, like PS3 they wouldn't take anymore. PS2 they weren't taking anymore, but anything older than that, they were taking it.
Do you remember when they shut that down, though?
That was probably 3 years ago.
I feel like it was 3 or 4 years ago.
I think that company being the size that they are, they don't just lose their inventory. You know what I mean? I think that they probably have a warehouse somewhere that has a bunch of games, just like people that we know have warehouses full of games.
I guess we'll see. But yeah, the initial, from what I've seen, again, Spawnwave, it was so minimal of what was there. It looked, to me, it just seemed like, I would almost think the launch should have been better. I feel like the launch for it was it's making a splash in the retro scene, but I don't think because whoa, dude, look at their inventory, right? Holy cow, they just got thousands. I mean, I almost think, and I won't give names here yet, but we do have a friend who basically, can distribute retro sealed games. I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not, so I won't, just in case. I feel like they'd want to go buy a ton from places like that, even if they're not going to have that big of margins, to kind of have a good launch where people go, because they know we're in the modern age of YouTube. Hey, I went to GameStop. They'd want guys like us, Phoenix Resales, Retro Ricks, whoever. Hey, I went to GameStop to check out my local store, and we're like, holy cow, this is insane. Versus hey, there's some beat up, janky games out there for me to buy physically. But
I guess until they've really fully come into what they're trying to do, what do you think would be like some of their negative impacts that they've had previously that didn't work before that will work now? Sorry, Chris, we're going to give them more ideas.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Asking what are the
Like,
things
what were
they've
their
done
negatives
wrong?
that were happening before that really made it fail?
Well, they need to hire professionals at Retro, right? Like we even in this room, we're not perfect, but I would say like we're 90% proof just from looking at a game without opening it can tell you if it's fake or not. And I feel like that's not standard for a lot of modern day gamers, right? We don't expect, of course, they're not going to know a lot of the retro stuff. You kind of have to have some more professionals for retro in your room and up your arsenal to if trades come in, you can go, hey, Bill, come over here. And he can kind of at least look through them. Not because, again, opening every single game is almost unrealistic. Obviously, you have to open up the bangers, right? Anything maybe, $50 and above, maybe they have to start opening. Who knows?
Yeah,
to
maybe,
look at the boards.
Maybe if we give them some advertising, like don't get Curtised by a fake game.
Yes.
Perfect.
I thought that was funny. One of the fans made a shirt and it says "Don't get Curtised."
They did at Retro World. It was awesome. I wore it one day.
Things.
But I mean, other mistakes that they did, I guess the fakes is the biggest.
That was the big one.
I could see them like training, employees to kind of deal with older systems. Like I've dealt with that a lot. Like a lot of the younger people that come into my stores that I hire are a lot of them. They don't like they've never plugged in an Atari. Let's say I don't know if GameStop's going to take Ataris. I don't think they are, but they can learn certainly.
Yeah, and if not, I mean, even when they do like their next set of hiring or hire a new, I mean, they could specifically have a sign out for looking for retro game enthusiasts, and that's like the main source of that hire. Like, hey, we're looking for a retro guy.
Go ahead.
I wonder what the vibe of those stores is going to feel like, though. Like if they're competing now pretty much with all the mom and pops, right? Myself and I want to say thousands and thousands of retro game stores across the country now. So where there are our competition, where their competition. I'm curious, like when you go into like one of my stores or some of the other stores you guys have been into, there's a vibe to it, right? Yep. There's statues and there's arcade machines. Like, I wonder if it's just going to feel like corporate retro gaming.
Hopefully not. I mean, they of course they have the ability to make it good, but it's just going to come down to them if they want to listen and do right. If they're trying to garner towards nostalgia again, I feel like you got to go past just having a wall of vintage video games, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to go the extra step, put up some neons and put up some. What were you going to say, by the way?
Oh, I was going to say that the one thing they do have to change on their end was, remember back in the day when they took the old games or any retro game, they would toss the case and only keep the disc.
They better not do that.
And they only kept the game. So you notice when everything was on display, they only had the games on there, like DS games, 3DS games. They would chuck the case. I'd pick it up.
So that's a good point because retro gaming, I guess, is a little bit more complicated as far as selling it, right? Because you have manuals, you have boxes.
Yes.
Like, are they going to have a complete in-box Earthbound versus a manual for Earthbound versus a card for Earthbound?
Has to.
I feel like this time with the popularity, I always go back to the fact we're in the YouTube era, right? Everyone's making videos at stores. Like, you have to go into this knowing people are going to go to your place, film, and put you under the microscope, right? Whether it's DK Oldies with refurbishing consoles, you opening a store, people are going to go in and document what you do. You have to be smart this time around. You have to have retro experts. I'm hoping before they even made this decision to get that new logo look, that they had the gnarliest, smartest retro guys up at the top level talking with CEOs going, we cannot make these certain mistakes.
You would think that they did that they like hired somebody from the community or something to like come in, we want to do this. I just wonder if they didn't. And they just went like, we're GameStop corporate, we can do this, and they're just going to roll this out like, this is what we do kind of thing.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, they've been in the game for so long, they might not be trying to mix it up.
I mean,
that's always the impression I've gotten from them, is that they're like very corporate and almost distant from the community now.
Yeah.
Like almost like how like Goodwill did that whole like electronic boutique thing.
Yes.
I think it was like in Costa Mesa or something like that. But I mean, it feels kind of just like dead.
Yep.
But they have good stuff. But it's like it just feels like just blue and gray. Like you go inside and it's not just your colors.
Goodwill,
But,
I feel like it's a hard sell with Goodwill because GameStop feels more corporate and Goodwill feels like you're supposed to get a good deal. So it like doesn't feel the same paying retail at a Goodwill versus paying retail at a GameStop. You're like, oh yeah, I expect to pay retail. But at Goodwill, you're like, hey, give me some Goodwill, Chris, let's compare some prices.
Oh yeah,
bro.
I was just literally just pulling up a store locator to see how many that were by us, and that was about it.
Hey, bro,
But,
way to give away your address, bro.
I'm curious. Read some. What is near us?
It's probably in Jamboree Road in Irvine.
Irvine, Alicia Viejo.
And then
Corona.
what's the next closest one?
Corona.
Virus?
So can we walk into these now? Like we could go visit one.
I
of
mean,
these?
it seems like that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm curious. I'd like to go see one.
We should.
Yeah.
We should film it.
Yeah,
We're retro
film it.
YouTubers. What do you know?
we bring a local game store to a competitor.
Hey, we can bring a fake game and a real game. See if they can decipher. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I mean, you should. You should.
I mean, there are channels that do that
Yeah.
do go out of their way to
We
do
should
that.
just trade in 10 fake games.
Ben,
Ben,
but you
Ben,
would
sorry.
never do that.
But isn't this kind of a little scary though? Because as soon as like,
Bring up.
let's say they get really big and they start doing like trade-ins, that's when all the
I have it. I have
all the
price
guys selling all the boots are.
What do you want me to
out
bring
with,
up?
Like really good looking ones to try to trade them in.
So then,
Because I remember that happened a lot.
sorry.
Curtis, I'll do the price charting.
Okay, what do you want me to
Pull
do?
up a game.
Oh.
See what they got, bro.
Okay, all right.
Scroll down.
I don't even know how this.
Just scroll down.
All right.
Go to Mario Kart. Ooh,
Mario
what is that?
Kart.
Double Dash?
Yeah.
Double Dash.
Double Dash.
That's a good price.
Discount Double Dash.
And so the way their site is working now with this is not like buy online. This is find in store.
That's on. This is online, but
Oh, bro, if I
Curtis,
could find.
you have to let me go to the price before you go away from
well,
it.
sorry, I said click here, and I was like, all right, I clicked
Jenkins
it.
Stank. Wow. All right, go to Kirby's Epic Yarn.
No,
We're
it's there. It's back, dude. Come on.
Hey, how much?
Says $64.99.
Price charting. Double Dash. That Double Dash is $70 on price charting. It is under price charting.
Go
$5.
Pokemon Coliseum. Check Pokemon Coliseum. I think
Bro.
that's a good price.
Now, do we know if that's CIB or not? Does it not
We
say?
don't know.
Oh, we don't know. Yeah, I don't
See-
know. I saw Pokemon Crystal, and I crapped myself. I was like,
Can you
that's
click
crazy.
on it?
$100
Can you
game
click
for
on it to
$50
see if it
bucks.
says like complete?
Huh?
Click on it to see if you can like choose complete or not. This is good for the audience to know.
Yeah, I know.
No, it doesn't say, I don't think.
It says pre-owned. That's all you get, dude.
Wow.
And so
Okay.
does it have pickup? Like, can you find that locally? Pickup on the left.
Ship?
Ship to home.
Yeah, you can pick up in store.
Pick
Where,
up in
yeah, where
store.
does it say pickup? Can you find it anywhere near us?
No stores within.
Dang, zero Mario Kart double dashes.
It's pretty weak. Now, Curtis,
Not even within 100 miles.
go to the previous page and let's go to one of those disc-only games because we know exactly what we're getting.
You talking about the Zelda Wind Waker
Any
thing?
of them.
Okay, right here.
Okay, so what is that?
Let's do Smash Bros.
So do you think that these ones are disc only,
Well, those ones are going to be because it's showing
maybe.
it.
even though it doesn't say disc only?
Smash Bros. Is this... Okay. Smash Bros. Disc only. What do they have it for?
I mean, they do put in a disclosure. It says
45.
product may not include original box and instruction manual.
That was one of the biggest mistakes they made previously when they were just shipping out. You either scored or you got hammered.
I think
with the
Caleb
loose.
did a video where he bought like 100 Switch games just to see what he'd get, and probably like 80% of them were CIB, but the rest weren't. But they
I mean,
didn't
if
tell
they
you.
stick with this, I think it's ridiculous. Why not just go to the model of complete and incomplete? Even if you had two prices, right?
So this
Forget
one,
the manual.
This one, Curtis, what do they have it for? They have it for
$99.
for $45.
Yeah.
Loose, it is $47.
Chris, what do you have it in your store? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
We go right
Your
off
price
of price
Yeah, he's
charting.
price.
So
He uses price charting as his like.
yeah, my
go-to.
point of sale is tied into price charting, so it's all right.
Should we
Got it.
compare it to DK?
Do I go to the next one? Sorry.
Let's compare
So-
the next one to DK Oldies.
I'm curious where they.
Okay.
I wonder if they actually are paying.
I'm going to Shopball.
for a subscription. Like I pay for a subscription to price charting. I wonder if they're paying.
Oh, this is
I wonder how they're coming up with their pricing. Either that or they have their own
This is
algorithm.
unreal.
Yeah, it seems pretty close.
But
it's pretty
that's
close.
An insane.
This is a
that's
$180
expensive.
game
Yeah,
now.
That's an expensive game.
Not for resale. No, not for resale.
Is it?
Pokemon Crystal?
Crystal,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Not
a
for resale. It's like $700.
$120 game.
Wait, this is just Game Boy Color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very pricey game. I don't know what it's at now. It was like 120 like last month.
That seems
150?
cheap.
I know
Yep, there we go.
I know.
That
what Caleb
seems
bought.
cheap.
It's 150
Yeah,
on
I
price
know.
charting.
Just
Caleb
buy
pays
it
like
up.
140.
Dude, get them all.
Quantity. How many do they have? Add them all.
And it's $49 on this?
I don't think you could just buy it though. I think it has to be in stock somewhere.
Yeah, pick up or ship. None. There's none.
Dang.
They're out of service? Out of...
Yeah, none.
What's their trade?
Well, yeah,
value?
because
to
everybody...
check a trade value.
Everybody probably looked.
Well,
and was like, what
resellers are going to be all over this, trying to find.
I'm sure
a
they've
deal.
already hit it.
I'm
Check-
Yeah.
the- Check trade-in.
So that's another thing. Like owning a store, I've always found if you price stuff too cheap, you're going to get cleaned out by resellers, and if you price stuff too high, you're not going to sell it. So if they are going to be too cheap, they're just never going to have this stuff in stock either.
Look what they're paying
know?
you for it. $15.
That's another
You know
thing
what
with being
Caleb
too
pays?
cheap too. Is they're
So,
hosing.
I just sent one into Caleb. He pays like 140.
To Phoenix.
Isn't that-
To
yeah.
one-up.app.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
You should sit on this GameStop site and just keep
Dude.
refreshing for weeks till one
No.
pops up.
But so I mean, I know $15
time.
is $15 is obviously nothing for Pokemon, whatever. But if they're selling it for 50,
That's pretty good.
what's that percentage?
About a third.
Okay, I mean that's typical. That's
Yep.
typical for a game store.
But I mean, if somebody doesn't know the values of this stuff, I mean, they're pretty much getting a great deal.
Most people don't if they're going in to
The GameStop. Yeah, I get it. All right, so what am I doing next?
It's always the same type of guys that go into GameStop. They're like guys who are like 25 and just are ready to like.
And their name's Ricky.
Or moms. It's a lot of moms. A lot of moms
Mav,
trade
gotta
in
learn
there.
early.
a lot of
Can't even
moms,
take my
it's
kids
true.
there.
Just their kids' games. They just look up and see
I had
GameStop.
on video, actually, I have it in one of our earlier Pixel Game Squad videos. I got a phone call, and this mom we know,
Let's go to
she's like,
Strikers.
Let's go to DK Oldies.
she just calls me and goes, "Hey, I'm about to throw away a bunch of video games. Do you want them?" And I'm like, "Sure. What?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I don't care what it is. I'll come over." She lives like 5 minutes from us. I went over there, and it was nothing but popular N64 and Super Nintendo titles. Contra 3, Mario 64, Mario Kart, Double Dash, just tons of it. It was
Yep.
going in the trash.
All right, go to which game are we gonna go? The same one?
I'm just gonna go
Crystal?
NES. Well, let's go NES because everybody likes to look at NES.
No, but if you have to compare it with GameStop.
That's yeah.
So you have to make sure GameStop has it.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Dude.
Go to the Pokemon.
Go to that
Crystal.
Pokemon Crystal. See how much it goes for here.
Let's just search it.
Game Boy Color.
Well,
Pokemon Crystal.
When you're done with this, Curtis, I'm curious if you went back to the GameStop site. Did they have like every?
250.
But that I think
Is that CIB?
maybe. Let me click it. Let me click it, dog. Okay, this is cartridge only.
Dang.
Wow.
Damn,
$100
DK.
over.
Before we release this episode, let's buy some GameStop games.
So wait,
first.
$50 $50 at GameStop, $250 at DK Oldies.
Yeah, but this is the worst site to compare it to.
I mean that's wild though.
But
Still,
that's not the real price.
Let's
Like,
check
it's
Retro
one-
Games Plus site.
I guarantee
but
we're
I
at
mean, I can't-
150.
but
I'm
I mean,
sure
I
if
can't-
that's what price charting
No,
says,
it's yeah.
we would whatever price charting
Yeah.
says is what we would sell it.
No,
for.
then that's a.
But this also could be like, a lot of this stuff comes down to condition. If they're sending out good condition stuff, they trade your battery out. It's convenience, right? It's like you can charge whatever you want to charge. Doesn't matter who you're ripping off. If they buy it, they buy it. You know what I mean?
true.
I think that it's really early for the GameStop website too, and they might just be putting out numbers like $50, and they might adjust on this stuff as time goes on.
Yeah, but if you think about like if they've already been doing this, like and they're just rolling it out, but they've been rolling it out constantly, you'd think they've already thought about this prior to going into it.
I'm telling you, I have
$50 and you're not going to adjust to a Pokemon game?
well, there's 20,000 video games plus, maybe 25,000.
And
I
there's-
bet you that they rolled this out faster, and we're like, we'll figure out the kinks.
Yeah, but there's
as we go
websites
along.
and products that provide you these prices to help you do these trades.
Well, that's why I'm curious where they get their pricing from. Like, I wonder how they came up with that $50.
They opened up their 2009
I will
manuals.
guarantee you that GameStop does not look at Pokemon Crystal and go, "Oh, this is a $150 game. We should sell it for $50." They don't do that.
What did you want me to
It's
show?
like they're not whatever system they're using. They have
Yeah.
it's maybe it's not video game price charts, and I'm curious how they do calculate it. But there's no way they're like, we'll give a really good deal on this game. Like that's not
Especially
their
a hot seller.
Yeah, that's not their business model. They want to make money. So I'm curious how they get this info.
Do you think this would bring down the market though on a lot of stuff? If let's say it stays like this, because remember, if they're only paying like $15 for that, to them it's still money.
Yeah, but it doesn't tie in, I don't think, to the actual sold price charting. Like, you know how, like, I think
No, yeah,
price
yeah,
charting
yeah,
is
yeah. Yeah, but
tied
enough-
into eBay
but
and stuff like
Enough
that.
people will figure it out.
Exactly.
That you can buy it from them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, if let's say they do get ginormous and it starts doing that, well, that's all the retro games will finally start stabilizing like lower.
They're going to change it because you think about it. This isn't one of those games where it's like, dude, secret. You guys didn't realize this one random PS2 game that no one's ever heard of is like worth $200 and it's gone $15 on GameStop. This is like a game everybody's searching.
Yeah.
They'll adjust this within probably a week.
Yeah,
Probably
I
by
think
the time this podcast goes out, it'll be adjusted.
they're listening.
My question is, if they asked to be a vendor at SoCal, would they be?
They did.
Yeah,
They did.
Did you deny them?
Yeah, we were already booked.
I didn't know that they reached
Sorry,
out.
guys,
Huh?
I didn't tell you
Wow,
guys.
Ricky.
Oh, I didn't know
Dude,
that,
I would have
Ricky.
easily kicked out someone else.
We were literally booked.
Get waxed, camel
What was
crew.
they applied as GameStop. The application came
The
through.
guy emailed me. He's like, "Hey, I'm with GameStop. Do you guys have like they wanted a 4x4?"
Retro Rick has them. He got them.
Yeah, we would have them for sure.
Yeah.
And so, Retro Rick, are they coming as GameStop Retro?
That's probably a good question. Oh, maybe that's why they're reaching out because it was right before the launch.
So I wonder if it's going to be signage GameStop Retro or just GameStop.
Probably
GameStop
GameStop
Retro.
Retro.
Oh, so
Smart.
they're really trying to get in, deep.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Charge them more. They got the pockets. Or do they? I don't think they have the money anymore.
One of my last questions I have for this topic is, since it is a largely known common name for it's commonly knowledge for gaming like outside of this, right? Do you think the common person that would come into your store now goes over there?
I, right away was asked, oh man, do you think this has a big impact on like retro game stores in general? And 10 years ago when GameStop started doing this, I was like, oh shoot. And myself and the game store owners back then were like, oh man, this could be really bad. And we were a bit nervous. I'm not as nervous today. One, because maybe, my store, I feel good. We have a good following and good community. But I also think the other stores, we know tons of store owners. And I feel like we're always going to offer something different than GameStop Retro is going to offer, which is like more of a community vibe. And I do feel like GameStop is so late to the game now that the stores have gotten such a foothold on good locations and the community and everything. Like, I think that it's not as much us competing with them as them competing with us. They might have a tough time.
I think the way for them to succeed is they'd have to really work on marketing and know this isn't 1999 anymore. This isn't 2010 anymore even. This is a whole different world. You hire influencers, you hire all these different people to talk about GameStop Retro. You have to make it cool if it's not cool. Yeah. Because that's what they're going to have to do, because their name has been tarnished within the retro scene for far too long for them to just come back the same and go, we got a new logo. They have to do something.
Do you think this was like the inevitable thing for GameStop?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Physical's going
digital
away. Yeah.
Comes into play?
I think that they were looking for anything they could do to salvage their company from probably going under. They got the biggest gift in the world with the meme stock stuff. They gave them the hugest influx of cash from that stock skyrocketing that kept them afloat. And they tried doing like the NFT stuff, which was the biggest flop ever. That was like hundreds of millions of dollars like lost on that thing. And that's their CEO, Ryan Cohen.
Yeah.
He was the Chewy guy that kind of had ideas for that. This, I think, is the smartest thing they've done in a long time.
Just got to do it right.
And I think, like you said, like it could be done right, and it could be worrisome for stores because they're naturally just going to get inventory. It's going to come into that.
That's GameStop.
It's GameStop, and
If
they're
you
just
ask any mom in the world who doesn't know anything about YouTube, video games, nothing, they'll go, "Oh, GameStop."
Yep. Now, will they be able to like cater to the hardcore in the community to come in there? Maybe.
That's why I said
I think time will tell.
They got to get influencers. They got to really work it to make it that way.
Dang, if they're watching this podcast, they owe us big time.
And if you're looking for, and I just said, if you're looking for influencers,
they hire you
would I
next
take
week.
that deal? Yes.
Dude, now we'll really know if they're watching.
If they paid a sponsor spot, would you do it?
Absolutely.
Dang straight.
Hey, I've done videos in the past, literally on our channel long before this, like literally like a year ago with Gabo and stuff. Like, I like GameStop. Like, I don't have a problem with it.
I think we were also talking before
In fact,
this.
GameStop. Bend this camera. GameStop is my favorite store to find local video games at a great price.
Burn. I think we were talking about this. Like, even if you have like a mom, like a your own business, or you're a store, and if you guys want to sponsor us, like, reach out. Like, we're down to figure out something.
Dang, sponsored by GameStop. Retro Games Plus, sponsored by GameStop.
Chris, you need to get a Retro Games Plus sponsor on here.
Oh,
No,
maybe
Pixel
I
Games
do.
Club.
Maybe I do.
Not too expensive over there.